Good morning and hallelujah. It is Sunday. We are ready to go. You're listening to Cracker Barrel on today's KTTS. I am Josh Marsh. Happy to be sitting in with you, talking to you guys, basically giving you free reign over this show because that's what it's all about. Your thoughts, your comments, and your calls. We're going to get straight to the line because we got a very smart caller who actually called right before it even started. We're going to go to Bob, and he wants to talk about something I'm fairly interested in, so we're going to let him on. So, Bob, what's on your mind?
Well, I got a couple points quick. First off, I want to know if, what it takes to make people realize when they talk about a corrupt Congress and or our legislatures, etc. I've never seen anybody squirm as much as Pelosi, and I've never seen anybody change directions as often as Pelosi. And I'm just wondering what it really takes, even for people that aren't people that are liberal or Democratic or whatever, to say enough's enough. Mm-hmm. How can they keep electing this woman when they're sitting there running that state right in the ground? I mean, when she's got her own private fleet of jets driving her across the country and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the second thing is in line with that. When you're talking about salaries and when you're talking about the automakers, I'm sorry for Chrysler, I really truly am, and GM as well.
Mm-hmm.
But how can we justify Nextel's, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, salary? I don't know if anybody caught that in the newspaper. $49,000 housing allowance, $275,000 a year, salary, and then bonuses and bonuses and bonuses, or whatever perks, if you want to call them. Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy's making more than the president, and
he's kind of up there.
Well, at a time when they're saying, well, we're not going to extend scholarships, and we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, and everybody's tightening their belt, they can't pay for retirement systems, and all of a sudden they give this guy a gigantic increase. I mean, I just cannot believe it. He's got to be one of the highest paid persons in the state. I mean, now, I'm not saying he doesn't do a good job. I'm saying that you could find a lot of people for less money that would do an adequate job. And it's just amazing in this day and age that we sit there and kick out salaries like that.
Yeah, I guess if it was performing, fantastic maneuvers of industry, if that was happening right now, we were seeing explosive growth. This guy had crazy good ideas. Then maybe. But I guess I think you're kind of right. Is it really worth that much, especially when you got taxpayer dollars just being plunged into this business?
Well, the news leader will go week after week after week on the struggle that we live out. Of course, we're in Ava, but on the struggles that they're having trying to get this retirement system straightened out in Springfield for the firemen and the policemen, and then they turn right around, and not they, but turn right around and report on, this is a great deal because we've extended this gentleman, another 2 years and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Well, I thought everybody was in the mode of tightening their belts, apparently not so. But, when you want to look at California, I mean, there's a lot of issues. Their social system has been busted for 15 years in California.
It's coming to a fantastic, and I mean that in a different sense of the word, fantastic grinding halt in California. Things are looking to be bad.
And they're not addressing one of the main problems, and people won't acknowledge this, but their school systems have been busted for many years because they're taking care of the immigration population that's exploded in L.A. I mean,
that's not a popular topic, Bob.
No, and they've had 5 or 6 hospitals shut down in California because they can't handle the overload. The federal government says we treat everybody that walks across the border, and then on the flip side, they're not getting reimbursed from the federal government to take care of all this. And so rather than call a spade because it's not politically correct, they're just totally dismissing that and just saying, geez, we're just broke.
It is a horrible, horrible situation down there right now.
Well, on that note, I'm going to leave. I'm sure I'll stir it up. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Bob, for stirring it up there in Ava. Good old classic Ava. I miss it. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news. Fun or not, liberal or not, I'm not sure who hasn't enjoyed watching Nancy Pelosi, as Bob so eloquently put it, squirm. This lady, I've never heard any more ums and ers and ahs than watching this lady talk about, well, no, it was this person's fault. No, it was that person's fault. Oh, heck, let's blame the Bush administration. Let's say it's their fault. Why not? Go ahead and do it. I mean, I'm not making this up, folks. This is the latest thing that's happened that she's went through. We have an interesting article. If you guys are interested in reading it, this was actually one of the topics I was going to bring up to see if anyone was interested in talking about this. Maybe, maybe not. Whole issue is Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Issue of was anyone told her about waterboarding? Did she know about it? She claims at different points that she didn't, but then she kind of did. Then maybe she wasn't quite sure. It was the CIA fault. No, I love the CIA now. They're doing a great job. It was probably the Bush administration, but he was the senior advisor, and some of you guys are familiar with Karl Rove. Actually wrote an article on this called "Congress and Waterboarding" for the Wall Street Journal, and you can actually go to our Twitter. That's twitter.com/KTTSCB, or you can go to KTTS.com. It'll be right there. And meet the 24-hour news team. You'll scroll down and see the Cracker Barrel logo. Not a logo, that doesn't exist. Click on that and then open it up. It'll give you a full thing as well as our email address because I can't crack into our old one. If you could send me some ideas on what you guys like about the show, don't like about the show, what you'd like to see come up, what you think should be getting rid of, even if that is me, that's also on there. So the ideas go to twitter.com/KTTSCB. It'll give you all you need to know as well as some of the issues we address. Let's go ahead and go to Jim. He wants to talk about the Fighting Irish. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. How are you this morning, Josh?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Jim. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
So, are you fighting mad about Notre Dame?
Yeah, it kind of disturbed me yesterday. They already made 19 arrests there.
Wow.
Yesterday, and it was all senior citizens. And what I seen on the news, they was walking through there, and they stopped them and said, "You've got to leave." And they arrested 19 yesterday for doing absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Yes, before he even got there today. Where's freedom of speech at?
Well, you know what, Jim? I'm going to be honest with you here because I only got to look up for a little bit the other day while I was doing the news, and I did see something on the TV. I believe it was CNN that was holding the coverage, and what they showed was a priest, and he, as you mentioned, he was an older fellow. He wasn't a young buck priest like you might find in a popular movie coming out now. He'd been tied up, and he was in some kind of foam board, and they'd completely, put him down, and then I guess we're going to carry him out. Now, I can't imagine him getting too violent, but did you see any of the protests of what these guys were actually, if they were protesting, how they were handling themselves? They was
walking through there. They had one gentleman stop, a veteran, and they asked him. They said, "You've got to leave," and he said, "I've got a right to have my say." And they said, "You're not going to leave." And he said no, and they arrested him, put him on that sling deal, and carried him out. Yesterday they arrested 19 of these people, absolutely doing nothing wrong, nothing.
Wow.
So, I say today, run that man off campus. That's what I say. He has taken over the United States of America. It's going to be my way or no way. You're going to go to jail if you say anything. That's what I think.
Yeah, that would be a bad deal. And Jim, I think that's be an interesting topic if anyone wants to weigh in on that, because I'd be curious to know what other people's thoughts on this are. Obviously, we see some different protests, and we've seen those in the last little bit. Actually, a doctor from Springfield here, she went in and started yelling in a place where they were trying to get things figured out. They had a board together, and she started yelling. And obviously, that's not the thing to do. And of course, we've seen in the past this group called Pink. They go in and they yell and they scream, and that's a big issue.
Oh, they're totally radical. Pink is they're absurd.
And this is to say, I don't. The doctor who from Springfield went to talk about health care up at the Capitol, she was just concerned, and I understand concern, and that's fine. But when you start yelling, loudly and trying to interrupt, that's when you become an issue. Now, as far as walking.
And doing absolutely nothing.
And because we do have a right to exercise our free speech and our thoughts.
Yes, we do.
And there's nothing wrong with that when we do it in a peaceful manner that gets our message across. And I don't know. I want other people to call in on this and let us know what they saw in the news coverage. If they saw these guys acting lewdly, I can't imagine them doing that. I know the issues that were on their mind.